Shahid Kapoor's Deva is a divisive film. People will either absolutely love it or despise it. There is no middle ground. Now, the reason that I like this film a lot is not that I am a big Shahid Kapoor fan, but the way this film is written and directed, it keeps the audience engaged. Spoilers for Deva ahead. But before we start talking about the direction of this film, I want to address one point. Whenever in a film or a show, infidelity is used for either comedic purposes or to show that our hero is a badass stud, it just triggers and puts me off. It's a personal thing, but I don't find infidelity and the fact that other men's wives are sleeping with our hero to be a badass thing in films. In the first 30 minutes of Deva, there is a scene when his neighbor's wife is having sex with him and it then goes back to her own house and her husband is there smiling and waving at Shahid Kapoor. And I was afraid that the sole reason of this scene existing in this film might just be to show off that, oh, Shahid Kapoor is a stud in this one. But fortunately, that scene has a purpose both in the story of this film as well as in our understanding of Deva as a character. That being said, the thing that I absolutely loved in Deva is the direction, or should I say misdirection. When I use the word misdirection, I'm not talking about the fact that everyone in the marketing of Deva denied that it is a remake of Mumbai Police, a Malayalam film, but the misdirection that Rosshan Andrrews does in the story of this film. I have not watched the original Malayalam film, so Deva was a fresh experience for me. Shahid Kapoor's Deva is the actual killer of his friend Rohan. Now, somewhere in the back of my mind, I was thinking about this because one of my friends went to watch this film, and when he came back, he asked me very confidently, should I give you a spoiler? And when someone asks such a question after watching a murder mystery film, it's fair for me to assume that the main character is the actual killer in the film and he might have schizophrenia or split personality disorder. However, where Deva shines is how Shahid Kapoor's character misdirects the entire investigation, and in turn, Rosshan Andrrews misdirects the audience into guessing who might the killer be. In the first 30 minutes of the film, Pooja Hegde's character suggests that there might be a mole in the department that Shahid Kapoor is heading. And as the film progresses, we get shots that linger on a few characters, especially Farhan and Dipti, making the audience wonder if any of these two are the moles that Pooja Hegde's character talks about. But again, the way the shots linger on them, as an audience, it made me wonder that if these are the actual moles, it is very obvious in this one shot, so I don't think these two characters are going to be the mole. In another scene, after Rohan is shot, we see Deva go into a building that is under construction and he looks inside a dark room and the film cuts. The next scene that we see is Deva describing the appearance of the shooter to a sketch artist, and it made me wonder if Deva actually saw the shooter and killed him on spot, and now he's describing his appearance so that he can find out more members of his gang. Earlier, it feels like Rohan's assassination is in retaliation to the encounter of Prabhat Jadhav. The film opens with Deva calling Farhan, telling him that he has finally solved the case, only for him to get into an accident. Even the accident feels like it was done on purpose. And in the first 30 minutes of the second half of this film, to me, it actually felt like this memory loss arc is only there to extend the runtime of the film. But it plays a vital role in the story as it's only due to his memory loss that Deva finally solves the case by the end of the film. Even one moment before the final reveal of the film, we are almost made to believe that Farhan is the actual mole. But when it was revealed that Shahid Kapoor's Deva himself is the mole in the department, for a few minutes I was very disappointed. But as the film progressed, I was actually relieved that they have not used mental illness as a crutch in the story of this film. And in the context of the story, it actually makes sense why Deva killed his friend. And when we find out why he was ready to confess, it's satisfying. Again, some people might not be convinced by the actions and motivations of Deva, and it's pretty subjective, which is why I say that some people might not like the film. But from my experience, it's a clever film that kept me guessing. Deva sleeping with his neighbor's wife also adds to the story, as towards the end of the film, it's the said neighbor's wife who reveals what Deva had been up to before the loss of his memory, and it also gave us a glimpse into Deva being a morally grey character. As the film concludes, all the pieces of the film fit together, and that is something I consider to be a sign of good direction. One thing I'm still quite unsure about this film is that after Rohan is killed, we see one shot of a guy in that unfinished building. However, of course, that scene is from the actual point of view of Shahid Kapoor's character, and as the film concludes, we realize that all of that was a misdirection by Deva. But again, that one single shot of a guy running down the stairs of that unfinished building feels like cheating by the director. But again, if we had not seen that guy in that building, we would have guessed that, oh, Shahid Kapoor is misleading the investigation. A small gripe that I have with this film is that Deva is very similar to Kabir Singh. And not just in Shahid Kapoor's acting, but the choice of background music assisting Shahid Kapoor's scenes in the early parts of the film. I'm not saying that I don't like Kabir Singh, but every single performance of Shahid Kapoor post his 2019 blockbuster has had a hint of Kabir Singh in it, whether it be Bloody Daddy, Fuzzy, Jersey, and now Deva. Overall, Deva for me is a pretty solid film. It's a good mixture of massy films and a good psychological crime thriller. Let me know what you thought about this film in the comment section below, and if you want to watch a more detailed and polarizing discussion about this film, consider subscribing to our podcast Pop Kulcha. Consider subscribing to Movies and Ragang for more videos like this, and thank you so much for watching.